This is the plaintiff, Raven Cooper. She says the defendant is her father, and he foolishly put her washer and dryer on the street for her to pick up. But by the time she got there, they were stolen. Her father made a poor decision by placing her appliances on the curb for all the world to steal, and father or no father, she's here suing him for the $1,000 he owes her. This is the defendant, Dwayne Cooper Sr. He says his daughter left the appliances at his house for 2 years. He told her on numerous occasions to retrieve her belongings because he didn't have room for them, but she never did. Bottom line, he needed to leave the house. He put the washer-dryer in his backyard and has no idea what happened to them. He's accused of not being too fatherly.
All parties, please raise your right hand. Be seated, come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn in.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Okay, father-daughter,
Yes.
you had a washer and dryer in your possession.
Yes.
And you were moving to a place where there was no hookup.
Right.
All right, did you get rid of the washer dryer or what'd you do with it?
I gave it to I told my dad to hold it, and he lived maybe like 4 minutes from where I resided. So
you told him to hold it or you told him to install it in his place?
I told him, well, it was okay for him to use it. But it was to hold. It was to hold until my landlord put the washing machine and dryer.
Which was supposed to happen when?
He told me about a year.
Okay, so in any event, so you'd ask your dad to hold it for how long?
Just until the landlord was able to do what.
And how was it that you were able to take the washer? Where'd you get the washer dryer, by the way?
I got it from a used like a.
So, and how long had you had it?
I had it for maybe like 2 years.
Okay, so now you are moving from the place. You lived at that place for how long?
About 3 years.
Yeah. All right. So what happened? I'm gonna leave it with you for a year, Dad. What happened with that? Like, how did 3 years happen?
The landlord didn't do what he was supposed to do.
Can I ask you a question? I see a Facebook message that you send your dad saying, "I want my money. I want my washer dryer" in 2016. That's fresh when you had just asked him to hold it. So why were you sending that?
Because the agreement was that he was going to allow me to wash me and my kids' clothes. So eventually, like soon after he got it, the washing machine and dryer, and was using it, it seemed as if like I started to get funny reactions to try to use it myself. You know, he started complaining about his water bill. He started telling me, oh, I could only wash it on Sundays. So I was already like very upset that I made the decision to give it to him.
So do you two have a good relationship?
No, we don't.
Okay. Did you ever have a good relationship?
Yes, we did.
Okay. When did the relationship go this sour?
Recently.
Over this? For a washer dryer?
Not
An old
over
used
this at
washer
all.
dryer?
Not over this at all, no.
Okay. What did it go sour over?
As a father, you expect so much from your daughter, and she felt that, how can I say it, I just didn't like things. She was, her hanging out, her drinking, stuff like that. So,
So you commented?
One of the reasons why I was moving was because of her, because she'd be banging on my door 5, 6 in the morning, where the whole 3-family house could hear. So I was moving way before, because of this, because
Okay.
she was annoying.
Okay.
Also, I did give her a chance to use the washer at the house. She used it several times. She used to pop up at any time and say, I want to use it, I want to use it. That's when I said, we have to come up with some type of schedule.
All right, let me ask you a question. When you decided to move, did you tell her, come and get your washer dryer?
Yes, I did.
All right, when did you tell her that?
I told her boyfriend at least 3 weeks. He seen me taking stuff. He says, Dad, I didn't know you was moving that soon. I said, yes, I'm getting out of here. So I told her 3 weeks ahead of time. Then I told her a week before that.
Wait, that's you telling the boyfriend, yes, I'm moving. When do you tell her, take your things?
A week before and the day I would move.
Did you actually speak to her a week before?
I did.
And?
And I told her, she said, okay. I guess they had a problem getting a truck or something.
Okay, how do you know that?
Because that's what I was told. That's what she told me.
Who told you that?
My daughter.
All right, and then the day you're moving, what happens?
I paid someone to help me move it up out of my basement. I put it on the side of the house, the back of the house, I'm sorry, where no one usually take it. If you put your furniture up front, then it's for free. People come get it.
Right.
So I put it in the back, and I left it there.
Was it under?
It was under a blue.
Was it covered?
Yes, it was. It had
Okay.
a blue tank.
And is
over
it a fenced-in yard or no?
No.
Okay. So you leave it there, and what do you reach out to her again?
Yes, I do.
How do you reach out to her that time?
I spoke to her over the phone.
And what'd you tell her?
I says that I have to go. I'm moving. You have to come get your stuff. She says, okay. She didn't come that day she's supposed to come. She came the following day and called me up and says, it's not there. I says, I left it there. You know, I'm very sorry. I left it there.
And then you feel that for a washer and dryer that you paid $400 for in 2014, that you should get $1,000 in 2020.
Well, no, I just feel that I should be compensated, and that the hookup that I have now, it only will allow a stackable.
Well, that's a you
because
problem.
I don't have.
If it only allows a stackable,
Yeah.
then I guess you need yourself a stackable. I mean, that's not. So what? Let me ask you a question. Your version of this is what?
My version is I wasn't given enough notice.
What notice were you given?
The day that he put it out on the curb, that was the notice I got to come.
Who did you get that notice from?
My dad. I spoke to him the same day he called me.
And he said, I put it on the curb?
He said it's outside to go get your.
Okay, so he didn't say curb.
Right, but.
Okay.
That was the only notice. That's the only time.
And then you went to get it when?
I came to get it that same day. That same day, I was very, very stressed out.
How did you get a truck so fast?
I contacted so many people. I ended up having a friend ask her dad.
Okay.
Her dad.
So you brought the truck, all that, you did all that in one day, and then you went over there and it was missing already.
And it was already gone. I called him then that same day and I said, I don't see it. And he's explaining to me where it is. And I'm telling him, I don't see it. I don't see it. I honestly,
he says he called you a week beforehand and that he spoke to your man a month beforehand.
No, we didn't even know that that was the day that he was moving. When I got the phone call, my stuff was already outside. I'd never had a chance.
Okay, but you knew he was moving.
I didn't. He said he was moving, but you don't really know.
I know. So what hustle do you engage in to get your property out of there that you've had stored there for 3 years? If you knew the man was moving, it's because he told you he was moving. So what did you think was going to happen?
You don't really know that. He told me he had moved. He wasn't even staying there. He supposedly was staying in Southbury.
All the more reason for you to get your washer dryer out of there. How do you figure that something worth $400 in 2014 is worth, even $200 in 2020?
Well, I just figured that if I had my washing machine and dryer, I would be able to use it and wash
Right.
my
So the
kids'
question
clothes.
would be, at best, the question for this court would be, if you're right and it's his fault it's missing, which I'm not sure you are, when would the value of it have increased from 2014 to, because listen, if he still had it, what you'd have is the depreciated value of something you bought for $400 6 years ago. You understand that?
Right, I understand.
So what's that worth? What do you think you could sell that for?
Yeah, I totally
a peanut,
understand.
So it would never be what you're saying. So I've seen the text afterwards, and I see how testy things got, and I'm sure that in your mind you feel, look, you're my father. You should have watched out for me more. And in his mind, he feels you're kind of entitled. And why are you talking to me like that? You're telling me I owe you, as opposed to, will you help me? And it's kind of sad if there was, at one point, there was a good relationship between you guys that. I certainly hope it's something more than a washer dryer that led to whatever the problem is. What is the problem?
Oh, at this point, I'm more so just bothered because my washing machine and dryer is what's needed. The agreement was to hold on to it. I was going to get it back. I need a washing machine and dryer because my kids go to a school.
Yeah, you're telling me things I don't, listen,
well,
you need a washer dryer because every human needs one. The problem that we have here is, were you justified in just waiting and waiting until it's convenient for you? You've got nowhere to put this stuff. You've got nothing to, so you just keep waiting because you don't think he's going to put it out. But he is going to put it out. It's not a problem until it becomes a problem, right? And then all of a sudden he calls you, and according to you, I hustled, got a truck, and it was missing. According to him, you didn't call him back until the next day, which was when?
It was after May sometime. We also were employed at the same place. So
Wait. You're employed at the same place those whole 30 days we're talking about?
that's what I'm trying to explain.
Okay, so what I'm trying to explain to you is if you get wind of the fact that he's moving and you know your stuff is there, what you said I knew he was moving. I didn't know what day.
There was no actual date.
Then why don't you turn around and ask him, listen, I got to get my washer dryer. What day are you moving? How about that? Because we know that the end of the month is coming.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Right. Listen, I'm finding in this case, based on the facts that are in front of me, in favor of the defendant. I don't believe that he owes you something because you didn't make it your business to figure out when he was moving. And or, worse than that, he actually told you, take the thing, and you still didn't get your act together. I'm finding in favor of the defendant.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So in this daughter versus father lawsuit, the daughter has lost. The judge found against you. What are you thinking?
I think that it's terrible that he's allowed to put my stuff outside and not be compensated for it. So to me, that's just not right. It's not. You should pay for something that was lent and you was holding.
The judge said the onus was on you to get it, and you just didn't get there in time to get it. And let me ask you another question now. What's this going to do to your relationship between you and father?
Well, we weren't talking already, and I just feel that he knows he's responsible for the washer and dryer. So, he should compensate for that.
Look, I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about this relationship you have with your father. Was it tough to sue him? Was it hard for you to do that?
It was, but it's because, what's right is right, and it's not fair.
Well, the judge said you're wrong, okay? Just so you know. So you lost. All right, Mr. Cooper. Your daughter's still upset, but anyway, you won the case.
Yes, sir.
Step over here. So what are you thinking about this whole thing? Were you surprised to have her sue you?
Very much so.
Shocked, probably, huh?
Very much so. I didn't think I raised her that way.
Yeah. So what happens now?
Well, I guess after everything cools down, I'll reach out to her.
Are you still working together in the same company?
No.
Well, good luck to you. Okay,
Thank you
no one
very
likes to see a father-daughter split up like this,
Yes, sir.
especially over washing machines. My God. All right, thank you very much. All right, Harvey, what do you think?
So, Doug, this is pretty simple. The defendant told the plaintiff numerous times to pick up the washer and dryer. She didn't. It was abandoned. End of story.
This is the plaintiff, Bruce Downer. He says the defendant is his now estranged son, and he owes him money for a car he co-signed for him and lease payments he failed to make. Suing your own flesh and blood in court is difficult for him, but his son has done him very wrong, and he needs the judge and this court to teach him a valuable lesson about responsibility and morals. He's suing for $3,174.98, the amount he's most definitely owed. This is the defendant, Tyler Downer. He says his father's the one who did him wrong, and all the trouble began when he moved back in with his mom. He most certainly doesn't owe his father any money for this car because his father bought it, and he owns it, and he has it. The plaintiff thinks he can get away with being a bully, but he knows the judge doesn't like bullies, and he thinks he's going to walk out of here winning this case. He's accused of fouling up with his father.
All parties, please take your rating. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Bruce Downer,
Yes.
you are suing Tyler Downer, your son, for $3,174.98 that you say you're out as a result of him not fulfilling his obligations on a car that you co-signed for him, correct?
Correct.
Who is this, Mom?
Mom.
Okay. So, Mr. Downer, let's start with you. What happened?
Back in June of 2016, my son said he would like to get a new car. And at the time, I told him that he would have to pay for the car himself and continue to pay his insurance.
And how old are you?
21.
Okay.
And which he's always paid his insurance for his vehicles. So he went researching and found a 2016 Nissan Sentra at a local dealership that he wanted to lease. And when he went down to lease the car, I told him he had to get his own insurance because he can't have beyond my policy, which was my wife and my policy at the time, because the car wouldn't be registered to us, it'd be registered to him. So he said he did research and could not find affordable insurance. So therefore, he needed to be on my insurance policy. I then told him that in order for him to do that, I would have to be a co-signer on the vehicle, which I didn't really want to do, but he said he wanted the vehicle and he promised to make all the payments. So at that point, I went down to the dealership
When
with
you say
him.
you didn't want to do it, why not?
Because we're trying to, let's see, at that point in June, I was preparing to file for divorce, so I didn't want any other credit or anything going on.
Did you know it, but your wife didn't know it?
Correct.
And your son didn't know it?
Correct. I filed, yes, I'm the one who
Okay.
filed
And
for the
what
divorce.
was the reason for the divorce, just generally?
Just general marital breakdown.
Okay. So you didn't want to put it in your name, but you went ahead and put, I mean, you're not divorcing your son, right?
No, but
Okay, so you went ahead and put it in, you co-signed for the car.
Correct.
He's on your insurance. Things go fine until they don't. When do they stop going fine?
In November, December timeframe.
Okay,
At
and
the
when
end
did
of
you
August.
file for divorce?
The end of 2016.
So just about the time you filed for divorce.
Yeah,
How long had you been married?
22 years.
So according to you, he didn't take it well.
No.
Okay. So then what happens?
Tyler had called the dealership and asked them how can he get, my name off the registration and his, and they said all you have to do is go to the DMV and change it. So
Yeah, but if they do, they can do that and the loan still be in your name?
yes, the lease
right.
would still be both of us, but
Okay.
the car would be registered in his name, and at that point
Why didn't that happen from the beginning? Because you wanted security?
No, I didn't want my name on there at all. I was only co-signing so that my name would appear on
So
the
why,
paperwork.
when it was originally registered, was it registered in both your names?
The dealership only registered it in my name. They were supposed to register it in his name.
Well, didn't you notice it? Because you don't have
Yes.
the same name.
Yes, as soon as we got the paperwork in from the dealership and then we saw the registration was in my name, my son called him and said, look, this isn't supposed to be my father's name at all. It's supposed to all be in my name.
Right.
And they said, oh, it doesn't make a difference. It's because your father had a better insurance score than you. So therefore, we registered it in his name, but it doesn't make a difference.
All right, well, now, in any event, what happens is at some point he stops paying.
Yes.
What does he stop paying? The car?
He stopped paying. The insurance was paid up until March 1st of 2017. So he stopped paying for the car in February of 2017.
What did he say?
He just brought the car to my house and said, here, this car's yours, you
Well,
own it.
before that, though, you contact him and you tell him the insurance is going to be due in March. And what does he say to you?
I told him that he either needed to re-register the car in his name, in which case then he could get his own insurance policy, which he had told me he already had in place, effective December 25th of 2016. And then I would remove him from my policy, and I would give him the refund for that time frame until March 1st, the date that he actually re-registered the car. The second choice was to pay the insurance, and I needed the full payment by March 1st because that's when the payment was due, and I always pay the policies up front to save money. And the third choice was if he didn't want to do either of those, I wasn't working at the time, so I couldn't afford to pay his insurance as well, that I was going to have to suspend the coverage on the vehicle except for comprehensive. And because I didn't trust that he wouldn't drive the car, I would come and get it and store it in my garage until the time that he could pay for the insurance, and then we'd reinstate the policy for his car.
And so he apparently took option 3 and handed you the car.
He actually, he brought
actually
it back.
dumped the car.
He dumped the car.
He didn't say, yeah, I'll have the money in 3 weeks and I'll pick up the car. He
No.
dumped the car.
Correct.
All right. How did you know he was dumping the car?
Because he came to my house, put the keys down on the kitchen table and said, the car is yours. I can't afford it anymore.
Okay. Now, what did you do after that? You got another car?
Well, I left the car there because I couldn't afford the insurance payment because he wanted all $1,200 cash in full as of March 1st. He let me know about two and a half weeks beforehand. And
How had you been paying the insurance up to that point?
So I'm in college now, and so I take loans out. And so what I had done was my parents would pay in full, and then when my refund check from the loan came in, they would take the money out from there.
Okay. So, all right, go on.
But the $1,200 he wanted by March 1st, he let me know two and a half weeks in advance. And I had told him at the time, I said, I'm a full-time college student with a part-time job. I said, I don't have all that, the $1,200. And he had told me, well, you know that the insurance was due, but the 6 months beforehand, the insurance had been cheaper than that. So I had some of the cash to give him, but not the full amount because my mother
Did
had
you
been
tell him
removed.
that?
I did. I told him that on the phone.
Do you recall him telling you that at all? That he could pay part of it, just not the whole thing
No,
up
he
front?
never said he could pay part. He just said he didn't have the money. And I
Did
said,
he
well,
say he had part of the money?
no, he did not.
Go on.
And so he wanted the $1,200 in cash in full by March 1st. Otherwise, he threatened to take the car away from me. So my option was I took the car, I brought it to his house, gave him the car, the keys. I said, I can't afford the lump sum full amount that you want. But I had a credit card at the time, so I went to the dealership and I took a down payment on the vehicle that I have now, and I put it on the credit card because he wouldn't accept anything but cash for the insurance payment. And I leased a new vehicle because that was the only way I was going to be able to afford to have a car.
Who helped you with that lease?
My mother.
Step
A
on
week
up, Mom.
prior to when he dropped the vehicle off at my house.
Come on up, Mom. What day did you folks sign a new lease? Was it before dumping the
It
vehicle?
was about 1 week before Tyler brought the vehicle to him, yes.
What did you end up doing with the car that he dumped at your house?
I held on to it for a few weeks trying to figure out what I could do and how, what my legal recourses were. And then eventually in the beginning of March, I went to a GMC dealer and worked out a deal for the vehicle I owned to be traded in. And I said, I need to get rid of his car, the 2016 Nissan Sentra. And they agreed to finally take it. But in order for me to get the lease taken care of, I had to pay that car outright, which was over $15,000. And then the money so they offered me $13,000 for it. So the difference is what part of the lawsuit.
Guys, what do you think is going to happen? I mean, look, I'm sure you never expected your father to sue you, or did you?
No, I didn't know.
Did you have a good relationship with him before this?
Not really. I didn't ever want to be at home because of the way he always treated me.
How did he treat you?
Kind of like a slave, because every single time, if I had friends over, immediately had to stop what I was doing just to empty the dishwasher, or do this just to do that, or...
Did you always have friends over? Because that's what I find my children do.
Yeah.
That way they don't have to do any work
a lot of times. But then there were times where, I'd get up in the morning and he'd say, oh, pull out the pan, and I'd pull out a pan. Make me eggs. I'd make him some eggs. Bring him the plate at the couch because he couldn't get up to come get it from the kitchen. Then take the plate back to the kitchen, and then do the dishes. So
well, that's why we have kids.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey 11 here. Would you ever sue your own kid to teach him a lesson?
No, I would not. I feel there's a lot of other things you could do than sue your own child.
What if it doesn't work? What if they are disrespect you, say they don't pay you back a loan, and just they don't want to?
You know what? There's got to be some other way than go legal against your own kid.
To go legal against your own kid?
That means...
What do you say?
It's too cold-blooded. There's got to be a way to do it with...
They're cold-blooded if they disrespect you and let's say they don't pay you the money they owe you.
No, you got to help them mature. You got to teach them.
Well, can you teach them by suing? What do you say?
I don't know about that, but how much money are we talking about here?
That is one cute dog. That dog is chill, man. That dog is chill.
Yeah, he's a super dog.
Okay, going inside the courtroom.
I mean, spiritually, did you have a relationship with him? I mean, would you talk? Did you felt like he loved you? Did you love him?
No, and there were times, where he had told other members in my family, I don't love him. He had said he didn't love me.
Why? Why would he tell other members in the family that?
He told that to my brother, and then my brother told me, he doesn't love you.
Well, that's just a weird thing to say and repeat from your brother's standpoint too.
And I don't understand why he always treated me the way he did.
Does he treat your other? Do you have siblings?
Yeah, I have one brother,
and
older.
Does he treat your brother differently?
Like a god.
Is your brother older or younger?
Yeah, older.
Would you have sued that brother?
Yes.
What's your relationship like with him?
With Tyler, it is estranged.
Why?
He has always been more favored by his mother, and so he takes his mother's side a lot.
Are you concerned that you're suing your son and that could affect your future relationship with your son?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, I will leave that in your capable hands. In the meantime, I have to make a decision about what I'm going to do about the lawsuit. How was insurance paid throughout that time?
His mother paid the 6 months.
You guys would pay it up front and then he would pay monthly?
Yes.
What should I do about the fact that there was a certain rhythm to the agreement where he would have to pay monthly, and then all of a sudden you change the agreement on him? How does that factor in here? Because that's part of the reason that your contract with him about how this car would go broke down. I think two things happened here. I think that you just dumped the car on him because you could, because mom was co-signing another lease and you could care less at that point. But I also think that you were changing the rules on him And why you did that is because of the divorce. And I think you were changing the rules on him also because of the divorce, because of all of the animosity that you folks have towards each other. So you all of a sudden, you know what? Pay it up front, or else. Okay, well, or else. That's what ended up happening. So I believe that there is $3,000 some odd of a loss in this contract of the two of you, but I'm going to kind of call it a split and say it's each of your faults. And so I'm going to order you to pay the plaintiff $1,587.49, which is half of the loss, because I do believe that it was unfair to all of a sudden tell you pony up $1,000 that you weren't expecting, had never expected, had never been part of the deal, and had never been part of the deal since you got your license. That's my verdict. Good luck, folks.
Well, quite an education here in what sounds like a family disintegration right in front of our eyes here. You're going to have to give him half of it, what he was seeking. How do you feel about that?
It's a loss I'll have to take. I don't think he deserves it, but, I mean, if that's what she ruled, that's what she ruled.
What do you see for the future of your relationship with your father? Anything? I mean, doesn't sound very promising right there.
Very slight.
Well, look, I'm sorry to see this situation. I mean, we all are. And I think everybody learned a lot from what the judge was telling you. It's a great lesson for everybody. All right, thank you. Sorry, you're going to have to pony up half of the loss. Here comes Bruce, Mr. Downer. What do you think about all this? You know, nobody comes off looking very good in this situation, you know?
No, and it's a shame. It's a lesson that we're trying to teach Tyler, that I'm trying to teach him, that you have to stick to your commitments.
Do you think it worked?
No, it didn't.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sorry it all ended up in court. That's a real tragic situation, Harvey. What do you think?
You know, Doug, it's interesting. The judge is really saying that the rhythm of the payment plan becomes binding on them in terms of what is expected of both parties, even though that wasn't specifically mentioned in the contract.
This is the plaintiff, Frank. He says he bought a car for the defendant, his daughter, and she got into an accident and is pocketing the insurance money. That's right, his own flesh and blood is ripping him off on a car, which is in his name and which he paid for. He's here to teach his daughter a lesson. Can't believe he has to sue her for the $2,010.53 she owes him. But hey, it is what it is. This is the defendant, Patricia. She says the plaintiff, her father, bought her the car as a gift. She was paying all the insurance costs on it, and the only reason he's suing her now is because the new woman in his life is money hungry and making him turn on his own daughter. That's right, the woman is bad news, but she knows the law's on her side, and she owes nothing. She is accused of dissing a dad.
All parties, please raise your right hand. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome,
Frank, you've asked to be referred to only by your first name. You are suing your daughter, Patricia. You have also asked to be referred to only by your first name for $2,010.53 that you say she owes you from insurance proceeds that came in on a car that you had been paying for. Tell me what happened.
Well, it started when my wife passed and she needed a vehicle. So I sold her.
Wait, your wife passed and your daughter needed a vehicle?
That's correct.
Okay.
So I sold her a vehicle.
You sold your daughter a vehicle?
Right,
What
which
vehicle?
she agreed to pay monthly payments on. In addition, I also paid for her insurance.
Okay. What vehicle was that?
That was a 2003 Ford Taurus.
Okay. And what happened with that car?
That car was totaled. So again, she was without a vehicle.
It was totaled through her fault or no fault?
Her fault.
Her own
yes.
fault, okay.
Yes. Then, since she was needing of another car, I purchased another car for $9,500. And again, she agreed to make monthly payments.
Okay, to you.
That's correct.
So why are you buying cars for your daughter?
Well, because she didn't have them and she needed help. So I thought I was being a great parent.
Okay.
And supplying her with the car that she needed. In turn, she was supposed to pay me $150 a month for that.
Okay, and did she make monthly payments?
No.
Never?
Never. Not one.
Well, what was she saying to you every month?
Well, she tried to say, well, she felt it could be in her inheritance.
Okay, but who's that lady there?
This is my fiance, and she's been witness to most of this.
In fact, according to you, you think she's the cause of most of this.
Yes.
Okay. Who are the women with you?
My sister and my niece.
Okay. How many children are there?
There's 4.
What's going on?
All 4 of us, well, the 3 of them are not speaking to him, and then when he sued me, I stopped speaking to him as well.
Why is nobody speaking to him?
Well, when my mother passed away, after he met this woman, he changed. And so he, first of all, in the month that he had bought me the car, when the 2003 Ford Taurus was totaled, he had already made an agreement to upgrade the car to the 2008 HHR through the dealership because he'd worked at the dealership and the dealer's wife had traded that car in. He said it's a really great car, it's a really great deal.
When you say agreement, agreement involves 2 people giving up something. He was going to do that and you were going to do what? Or you mean
he came at me and wanted to trade in the Taurus for this car. He wanted that car because he thought it was a good deal.
Was the Taurus under his name?
The Taurus was in his name.
Did you ever pay for the Taurus?
I did not.
All right. Were you supposed to pay for the Taurus?
Well, we had talked about it, but we never agreed upon a price. We never wrote anything up. There's no bill of sale. There's no paperwork saying the agreement at all. And he was actually the one that approached me about putting it in the will because the same month that he got the 08 Ford Taurus for me, I had a quadruple bypass surgery. I had not been able to work since.
So what happened then?
So
according to you, he gives it to you as a gift?
Yes. No. Well, he was going to put it in the will. He was going to put it in the will.
So he gives it to you as an advance?
Right.
In the will?
In the will.
Did you ever change your will?
That was never agreement.
But here's my question.
No,
Did you ever change it? Okay. So it was never to be a gift, which is what you said in the answer to the complaint. In the answer to the complaint, you say, this is a gift that he gave to me. So it was never a gift. It was that you couldn't afford to pay it. He knew it. But the original plan, had you not had that, had the coronary issues, the original plan was that you were going to pay it? Why would it be an advance? My dear, I mean, it's one or the other.
Yeah.
If you're saying it's an advance, that's your way of not having to pay it because you're supposed to pay it.
Right.
So either, if you're not supposed to pay it, why would you say it's an advance? Then it's just a gift. So which is it?
I mean, we had talked about it. We had talked about a price. We had talked about
is it a gift
putting
or is it something that was supposed to be an advance because you couldn't pay it?
It was a gift.
Whoa.
That doesn't sound believable given everything else you said.
Well, I mean, because he was the one that came at me and wanted to.
It doesn't matter if your parent is trying to help you out and get you a better car.
The Taurus got totaled. There was $3,500 that he was supposed to put down on the HHR that he did not.
What's an HHR?
That's the vehicle, the 2008 Chevy HHR.
You mean the new one?
The new one that he wanted. That he wanted to buy because it was such a great deal. And I told him I didn't have any money to pay a car payment. He's like, I know, but this is a really good car. It was the dealer's wife. It's in perfect condition. And he loves a good deal. So I was like, I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to not take the vehicle from him.
Oh, you could.
Because I didn't have a vehicle.
You could. You're 50. I mean, at some point we got to just,
right.
We got to separate ourselves
because of my health, I was not able to work, so I wasn't able to finance a vehicle.
Here's where the problem lies. The car gets totaled through no fault of yours. Somebody ended up running a stop sign and hitting you. Then there's an insurance check, and you kept the insurance check. He's suing you for it, right? The insurance check, part of it paid off the loan, and then the excess, the residue that went to you that you pocketed was $2,010.53, correct? And he's suing you for that because he says, well, that's not hers. This is supposed to be mine because the car was under his name, right?
Correct.
The car was registered to him. I paid, the insurance was in my name, and I was the only driver of the vehicle, and I insured the vehicle with the collision coverage on it.
Did the check come in his name and your name, or just your name?
Just my name. I have the stub for part of the payment that shows just my name on it.
And what do you say to that?
I say, first of all, on the first vehicle, she agreed to pay $100 a month for it. in the
And she
price.
didn't,
She
right?
never paid 1 penny.
And that
Also,
vehicle was around and you were making payments how many months?
2 years.
And then we have another 27 months with this car that she's supposed to pay you in dozens. So we're talking about 50-something months of you're not getting payment. When does it become a gift in your eyes? When is it just a father doing something for his daughter because he wants to, because she's his daughter, because she loves him, and because she has health issues? When is it that I should start to look at it as a gift?
In addition to that, to help her, I allowed her to take a loan against my stock, of which she still owes on that as well. So,
But that's not the subject of this lawsuit.
No, it isn't. But the total sum is, in essence, she owes me approximately $20,000.
Is your wife is your fiance angry at you over this? No. What, are you going to turn around and find out now? Did you want to come up and testify, sister, or you want to say exactly where you are?
Like only that he had told me that he got her a car because it was going to go in the will, and the other 3 were getting the money that my mother had arranged for us to get. So he did tell me that the car would be a part of the will. And he did change the will. He took us all out of it and put his new fiance in it. So
wait, he did what?
He changed the will.
What's his to change?
But he said he didn't change the will.
How do you know he changed the will?
Because he told us.
Oh, he did tell you?
Yeah, he did tell us.
I told
he
only
took all us
Patricia.
kids out of it.
You told one child and she told everybody else?
I was the only one speaking to him for the last 2 years.
That's
how many children do you have?
4.
Nobody's speaking to you? That's got to be painful.
Well, as a result of this, she is not speaking to me either.
Yeah, but how about the other ones weren't speaking to you before
However, I do have good rapport with most of the grandchildren. And
well, that's good. But I mean, doesn't it hurt? If I had 4 kids who weren't speaking to me, I'd try to figure out what the heck I could do to fix that. What do you think is the problem?
It's a lot of jealousy and anger.
Over what?
Well, I'm not really sure. Don't
you want to know?
Yes, it would be
Why
nice.
are you angry?
We were a very knit family. We were
Close-knit.
very close-knit. Sorry, I'm nervous.
That's right.
My mother pretty much held up the family. After she passed, we were still close. Then he met her, and which, long story, but he wasn't himself anymore. He did things that he would never have done before.
Like what?
Well,
Brought her
change
into my
your
mother's
will.
house and slept in my mother's bed with her.
That's not the reason. He just did a lot of things that my father wouldn't did. And we feel that she came in pretty much wanted him to have nothing to do with his family. And that's what happened.
What came first, not talking to your dad or your dad taking you guys out of the will?
I myself stopped speaking to my father because we were always welcome in our home. My brothers, who was...
What did that mean? You used too many pronouns.
He locked us out of the house after he met her.
We've walked in the house and she's been there and stopped her from going up the stairs, stopped her, like, where are you going? Very possessive of my mother's house.
Most of that is totally incorrect.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So if somebody stole money from you, okay, would you sue them if she was your daughter?
Absolutely not, because that's your daughter and family.
She stole from you.
But family is family.
But she stole from you.
I think that you should talk to her about it. I mean, maybe not sue her, but you know.
But she doesn't respect you enough that she's going to steal money.
I would put her over my knee and whip her tooth to oblivion. This is what I would do. I would teach her how not to be the way she was.
Okay, I think she'd rather be sued, okay, going inside the courtroom.
It's common knowledge to lock a home when you're not there. Also,
Yeah, but you change the locks, which
And
is
I-
really
and I-
intended for them not to be able to get in.
I
So what
had
was
to-
that? Why don't you come on up, fiance?
I
Come on up.
had
Yep,
to.
yep, you.
I had to because my son came into my home. He threatened me, and then he threatened her.
What did he threaten about? What was?
He said he could have her taken out. Have her
Why do you
taken out.
suppose there was such problem with all the children in you?
I had never met the children, ever. And one evening, his son Jim came into the house. We were sitting in the living room. The door was not locked. And he came in and started yelling and screaming at his father about having me in his mother's house.
How long before that had the mother died?
3 years. And so he and his son were having words, and his son ripped the pictures of his children off of the wall, saying that he didn't ever want his children to come into the house again, and that I had no place being there.
Okay. So did you ever have any discussions with them to try to amend that?
I've never spoken with
You're
his
like,
sons
peace out,
at
this is
all.
not my issue. All right.
No, never.
It's interesting, because
But he did.
wait, no.
I'm sorry.
I know exactly, but I mean, I got it. Okay, I got it. They're looking at this and they're thinking and she's just like, hey, I just came on this, that she has changed you. And that you have allowed her to change you, and that you have allowed your new life to erase your past life. And that's what they're angry about.
Yeah.
And you try to see it his way, which is, oh my gosh, I've done everything for my kids. I've always belonged to them. I've always done for them. I've always helped them. They're 50 years old. I'm buying them cars, a second car. I'm doing things, and it's not enough. I have to give them my last remaining years on this earth. I can't be happy. Okay, so everybody just try to think about the other person's point of view. And may I recommend the idea of an independent therapist, perchance mending this family back together. But I'm just throwing this out for size. What I have in front of me then is this. The fact that the car's still in his name, and the fact that you said, well, why don't you just make it an advance on the will, which indicates that it wasn't a gift. And what am I supposed to do with the fact that if it wasn't a gift at the beginning, does it turn into a gift when you just keep making the payments? What would have happened if the car hadn't been totaled? What would you have done? Let's say you finished the pay. Let's say there's 10 payments left. 10 more months passed, the car wasn't totaled, and you paid all the payments. Then what were you going to do? Because you were never expecting a penny of payment from her. We both know that. So what would you have done?
I certainly wouldn't have bought her another car.
Well, I hope not, but you might have. I don't know, you might have. But what would you have done? What you would have done is nothing. It's what you have been doing. It just would be her car, right?
Yeah.
I think that at some point after 40-something months of this, it does become a gift. It does become no expectation of payment. And I'm calling this your money and not money that you owe on the car. Because I fully believe that had there not been an accident, he would have never expected you to pay.
Okay.
He just would have taken care of it the way he appears to have taken care of it. That's my verdict. Doesn't solve a whole lot though, does it? Good luck to all of you.
Thank you.
Both sides, hold on right here, please.
Okay, so the dad's out here on the plaintiff's side, and it's so sad to see a family in court like that. How did this feel for you?
It feels very, very bad. I've done everything for my kids all my life. I had nothing growing up. And as a result, I really spoiled them, did everything for them. And then in turn, she has the audacity to keep the money that really belongs to me. So
They say you're the cause of the split between father and daughters and family. And there you are.
I don't feel as though I've done anything to do that at all.
You did mention that you had not met the kids after those couple of years. How come you never met the kids before that?
Because they were not speaking to him before I came into the picture.
Okay, around the corner this way. All right, so what's going through your mind here?
Well, I mean, I'm happy that they didn't award him the money because I truly felt it was mine. I was the one that insured the vehicle, and it's been years.
Is it about money, really?
It's not. I was the one that was speaking to him all along. I didn't stop speaking to him. Just my siblings did. And it wasn't until I received the papers that he was taking me to court that I stopped speaking to him.
Where do you go? Where does the family go from here?
I've already been to counseling, and they told me to stay away from my father, so.
Yeah.
And then you're okay with that answer?
Yeah, I am. He chose it, not me.
Sad.
Harvey.
It's really sad.
Okay, Kurt, the conduct of the parties often determine whether it's a loan or a gift. Here, clearly no expectation of payment. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.